Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Great to see you everyone. Welcome to Discourse Analysis. Today with me, Dr. Heri Kuswoyo, SSM Home. Today we are going to discuss Introduction to Discourse Analysis. Before we discuss a lot, I would like to explain the learning objective, what we are going to discuss today. The first is to define discourse analysis from different experts. Second, to discuss key concept and linguistic terminology in discourse. And the last is to explain spoken and written discourse. Let's discuss one by one. Before we discuss what discourse analysis is, it is better for us to discuss what is discourse from different experts. Discourse is language in use based on Brown and Yule in 1983. In addition, Johnston in 2017 added that discourse is a stretch of language perceived to be meaningful, unified, and purposive language in use. And then Channing and Walker in 2024 also added that discourse is connected chunk of spoken or written language such as utterances, sentences used in interaction for meaningful communication. As we can see that the relationship between language and discourse, we can see that language, it covers all of that which pertain to language, such as grammar, pattern, rule, as we can see under the studies of syntaxis, lexis, and morphology. Meanwhile, the discourse, it covers context, participant, and purposes. It involves the context in which language is in use, and then the people using the language and the purpose served by the language in that context. So, what is analysis? Based on Johnson in 2017, analysis is processes, mental or mechanical, for taking things apart. By analyzing discourse, that is by examining aspects of the structure and function of language in use. So we can conclude that discourse analysis as the approach to the analysis of language that looks at the pattern of language across text as well as the social and cultural context in which the text occur, that based on Paltridge in 2012. Meanwhile, Cook added that discourse analysis is the analysis of language in its social context. So based on the definition, we have two keywords, that is language itself and also the use. Meanwhile, based on Jones in 2024 and Canning and Walter in 2024, they added that discourse analysis as the study of the way sentences and utterances are put together to make text and conversation fit into the social world. Also, discourse analysis studies how language is used in real-life, everyday settings, such as interview, interaction in the classroom, and many others. So, based on the previous definition, that we can conclude discourse analysis concerns analyzing language form and appreciating their function in the context in which they occur. So we can underline two things that very influential in discussing discourse analysis. The first is language forms, and the second is language function in the context. Talking about the form of language, when analyzing discourse, analysts consider the form of language. Language operates on several levels, from the smallest unit through to discourse. Let's see the following, the level of language. There are many levels of language. It is started by graphology. It is the shape of language. And then phonology, it deals with the sound of language. And then morphology, it is about the constituent part of words. Lexis, it is about the words or vocabulary of language. Syntaxis, it deals with the structure of language in a sentence. And semantics, it is about the study of meaning, the meaning of words, phrases, and sentences. And at the end, this is the highest level that we call as discourse, where the way words and sentences are used in everyday situation, the meaning of language in context. So we can elaborate based on the definition in graphology that the study of handwriting, it refers specifically to such thing as typography, punctuation, and the arrangement of any marks that constitute the discourse. The second phonology, it is the study of the sound system of a language and is concerned with the different sounds that carry meaning, that known as phonemes. And then the third, it is the study of smallest unit of meaning in language that sometimes we call as morpheme, that is morphology. And then next, syntax. Syntaxis is the linguist term for clause structure. A clause is an organizational unit of language that is made up of a subject and predicator. Next, lexis. It is the linguistic term given to the word or vocabulary of language and their different form. And then the next study is semantics. It is about the study of literal meaning. And the last is discourse. As I explained before, discourse is as the language in use. It concerns meaning above the level of the clause and sentence or syntax. And now we move to the second term that we call as function. It is the purpose to which it is put, how it works to achieve certain goals. Every single social activities, it has a function. We can take the sample from the activities in the classroom context, let's say. It is about teaching and learning. So in that activities, that will be the function. What is the function? And then next is the context. In this keyword, in which the language event occurs, such as conversation between friends, a political debate, and many others. Talking about the context, it also deals with the situation, place, where, and how. Now we move to the concept, the three key concepts and linguistic terminology in this course. There are three. The first is text, the second is context, and the last is context. So let's discuss one by one. So what is text? Text, when we analyze discourse, we inevitably study text because as Halliday and Mattison in 2014, point out, when people speak or write, they produce text. Next, based on Halliday and Hassan, text is a single language artifact or unit of language that can be spoken, written, signed, or otherwise image that is defined by meaning. Now we move to the second keyword is context. So what is context? Context refers to the various situation parameters that coincide with language and which work together with language to create meanings. And language is used by people in different locations. It can be in different time, involve different participants, and used for different purposes. In short, language occurs in different contexts. And the last keyword is context. So what is context? Context is a specific type of context that is not covered by any the question set out above. It refers to the immediate linguistic environment of an utterance and concern how the meaning of particular unit of discourse, such as word, phrase, sentences, utterances, is influenced by the rest of the discourse. As what the sample, yesterday I went to the bank to save my money. So based on this sentence, the word bank, it really helped for the linguistic environment to define the meaning as the institution to save the money. This is not refers to the site of the river. And the last discussion is another things that very important in discussing of discourse, that is spoken and written discourse. So it is divided into two. The first is discourse, spoken discourse, and written discourse. So discourse is often divided into two modes, either spoken or written, or a combination of both that sometimes we call as multimodal. What about the spoken? The spoken or written division characterizes our ability to physically produce language either orally using our vocal cord or with the right tools and materials graphically. Based on Miller and Wainwright in 1998, so we can summarize the features of unplanned, spontaneous spoken language as follows. There are 5 characteristics. The first is spoken discourse is produced in real time, so without any planning and without editing. The second characteristic is spoken discourse typically face-to-face communication, so production and reception synchronous with interlocutor. And the next characteristic is spoken discourse involve changes in voice pitch, amplitude, loudness, rhythm, speed of delivery, shortening, lengthening of word, and voice quality. And then the next characteristic is spoken discourse also involve gesture, gaze, facial expression, and body posture. And the last is spoken discourse influenced by the limitation of our short-term memory. And then the last is written discourse. In contrast to spoken discourse, written discourse is not transient. For this reason, written discourse is traditionally the object of study and the point of reference on which grammars of English are written, and against which spoken language is compared. If we wish to study spoken discourse, we must first record it and then transcribe it into written form. So, that's are the objective of our meeting today. It is about the definition of discourse analysis from different experts, and also we discuss about the characteristics or mode of spoken and written discourse. See you next time. See you, bye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.